Welcome to Pioneer Mindset, a place where we challenge our mindset and address the discomfort in both business and life by finding clarity resulting in bold conviction. I'm your host, Garrett Ruskamp, fifth generation farmer, husband, and father from rural Nebraska. Whether you're navigating frustration from past decisions or worry about the uncertainty you face today in your business, we're going to learn from our struggles and take on new challenges with a resilient mindset. Join me as I share my journey of struggles I faced in agriculture as a farmer and family man. I'm ready to dive into honest conversations to tackle the mindsets surrounding key issues that rural ag business owners face that will ultimately help you gain control, leading to a profitable and sustainable business. Let's adapt to Pioneer Mindset and get to it. Welcome back, everyone. For this week's episode, I want to talk about how farmers love to farm, or ranchers love to ranch, truckers love to truck, cowboys love to cowboy. In other words, what I'm meaning here is a lot of times there's certain things that we truly enjoy. There's things that we love to do and we don't have a hard time doing, or we just love to keep doing that. So in this case, I just think about farmers, or in my case, I think about myself, how I'm a farmer, and I just truly love to do the work that I enjoy. And so I've talked to a lot of farmers, a lot of operations, a lot of business owners here lately. And, the one thing is that they're all struggling in their own ways. They're all struggling with something, whether it be financially, struggling with time management, struggling with just getting on top of the finances, whatever the case may be. But the one thing that they all do have common, and that they're not struggling with the production side of things. They're not struggling with the things that they truly love and enjoy, the things that they don't have a hard time doing, such as planting the crop, producing the crop, going out there, caring for the livestock, doing usually just kind of the day-to-day, doing the things that they've always done growing up, doing the things that they're comfortable with, even if the comfortable might be the uncomfortable of, say, working out in the heat or working out in the extreme cold. This last week, we had temperatures with a high of like -5 degrees for a few days. And, some people are probably calving right now. And you know what? They don't care. They love it so much. They don't care about being that uncomfortable. They're just used to it. They don't mind doing what they love because that's what they truly enjoy. But at the end of the day, it all kind of comes down to that's one thing that they don't struggle with. And in some cases, they might actually do it for free or do it to where they would pay to do what they love and enjoy. And what I think about this is you've always heard the phrase, you've got to spend money to make money, or it takes money to make money. Well, in most cases, I think that's true for a lot of people in agriculture, or especially starting up any business really, is we've got such a passion. We have such an enjoyment about what we do, especially say farming. We're going to go basically spend money to make money. We're going to go spend all this money on this piece of ground, hopefully make money. And at the end of the day, what this comes down to is just trying to think about, what are we actually trying to do here? What are we trying to do? And in some cases, I feel like we're spending money, we're doing stuff for free, or maybe actually paying people to let us do what we love and enjoy, and even giving up a lot of things that we truly love and enjoy in order to do what we love. In some cases, this might be giving up, say, time, money, freedom. But the funny thing is those are the exact same reasons why we actually want to be our own boss, why we want to be our own business owner or farm on our own, is so we can have more time, money, and freedom. It's kind of interesting how those two are very contradictory of each other, or those three different things. And so as I was really thinking about this, like I said, going back to talking to different operations, there's, like I said, there's one thing that they don't have to struggle with, and that's just doing what they are good at. But it's for that same reason, and there's nothing wrong with being passionate about something. That passion really drives us through the hard times, really just drives us through to carry on with that willpower and determination to get to where we want to go. But I think there's such a thing as taking it too far. And that's really, at the end of the day, why I wanted to talk about this, why I wanted to bring some light on this. When it kind of comes down to having this passion, but taking it too far, what does that actually look like? What are we potentially giving up? Farmers will do everything that they can to continue doing what they love. And that's probably human nature. I keep saying farmers, but that's human nature. Farmers, ranchers, business owners, we're going to do everything that we can to keep continuing to do what we love. But we might sacrifice some things along the way. We might give up some things. Some things might actually work against us negatively. So what does this actually look like? Well, in some cases, we might give up a vacation. We might miss kids' events. We might prolong that house remodel. We might buy the tractor over the family car that we actually need. We might refinance some debt, take on additional risks, give up some more collateral, just so we continue to farm on, continue to do what we love, continue to do what we are good at. Okay. And so why are we doing all this? What is this all for? All for what? All for more time, money, and freedom? Well, that doesn't make sense because, as we just mentioned before, we generally give up a lot of those things. Now, in the short term, in your current season, you might be trying to work for a better future, a better lifestyle. And in that reason, you might actually have to sacrifice those three things, the time, money, and freedom. You might have to sacrifice those so you can get there in the long run. And I completely understand that. And I completely agree that there's a time and place for that. But we have to acknowledge, what is it all for? Like I mentioned before, is it for a better lifestyle, a better future for our kids? Now, kind of a side note here on the better future for our kids, the lifestyle that your kids may want, at the end of the day, is just the lifestyle that has you in it, where you're involved in their life. Okay. So we have this idea in our head, right? This ideology that we're going to just try to work our ass off to try to get to a better lifestyle for ourselves, for our kids, better future for our kids, so they can have and do things that we could not. Okay. Well, I think that's all fine and dandy, but at what expense? At what expense? Are you basically going to work your ass off so that way you have a better lifestyle, but at the end of the day, at the end of your career, your kids are going to look back and say, I don't want that because dad was never around, mom was never present, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like that happens all the time, to where we try to work ourselves so much. We say it's for our kids. We say it's for a better future. But in doing so, we are sacrificing that better future because we're not being present with our current situation, with our current season. And I think that's something that we can definitely give up. And that ultimately goes back to, what's this all for? Why are farmers doing everything that they can to continue to do what they love? I think another reason here to kind of keep moving is it's truly because it's all we've ever known. It's who we are. It's our identity. And just a little side note here, or a little secret here, when I keep saying our, it's because I'm resonating with you. Whoever's listening to this, whoever you are, we've always got things that we're passionate about, things that we love and enjoy. And I keep going back to love and enjoy. But at the end of the day, that's what this comes down to, is farmers, ranchers, business owners, human beings who would do everything that they can to continue to have that comfort, that self of security, that thing that they love and enjoy, that they don't want to give up, don't want to change, don't want to be without. And I am no different. I am just like you. You may not be 100% resonating with everything that I've talked about. You're like, well, I'll gladly go on vacation. I don't want to miss my kids' events. I'm going to do the best I can not to prolong that house remodel, buy the family car over the family tractor. Well, you may not 100% resonate with this, but I can guarantee you, you can identify or resonate with some portion of this. There's something that you've done in the past where you've given up, you've sacrificed to continue to do what you truly enjoy. What you truly enjoy. Like I said, whether you're a farmer, rancher, or business owner, it does not matter. And I'm exactly like you. I'm exactly like you because I've given up a lot. I've sacrificed a lot just so I can continue to farm, just so I can continue to do what I enjoy, do what I think I'm good at, do what I am passionate about. And so really what this comes down to, if you're listening to this podcast, Pioneer Mindset, I am also just like you in that I want to do better. I want to be better. That's what we're all about here at Pioneer Mindset, especially with Pioneer Farmer. That's exactly why I started this podcast and Pioneer Farmer, is so I could help others. I want to help others get to be better and to do better. And that's why I really want to talk about this, because I think it's important, because we continue to sacrifice so much in agriculture, so much for everything that we're trying to do, that I think we kind of miss the point a little bit. Not only in farming operations, but in businesses. I just want to help improve people's lifestyles, their home life, our core four, like I mentioned before, that core four, which is our body, being, balance, and business. Improve those different 4 areas of our lives so we can really, at the end of the day, get to where we want to go. All right, get to where we want to go and truly enjoy everything that we're trying to do. We can have more better days than not, and really just not sacrifice everything that we're trying to work for. So we're not trying to shoot towards the wrong thing here. So, what can we do? What can you do specifically that we're listening to this? So as we shift this from talking about, what is the problem? What do we see? How can we identify this, to rather, what can we do? How can we course correct? And what does that actually look like? Well, really what this comes down to in my mind is, asking yourself, what are the priorities right now in your life? What are your current priorities? Are they faith, family, farming? Are they farming, faith, family? Or what is that exact priority? Is it family and then farm? And at the same token, I think we can have different priorities for different areas of our life. Okay, so if we want to make our family our priority, but then also want to keep our business, the ranch, the farm, keep that a priority as well. Within each of those areas, what are some goals that we can basically create or build to align with those priorities? Okay, for the business side of things, for the farm, I want to be profitable. I want to continue to do what I enjoy, but I want to be profitable in doing so, because really what this stems from, going back to my conversations with a lot of other farmers and ranchers, is we lose track of that. We're so focused on doing what we truly enjoy, so focused on working in the business, so focused on taking care of the day to day that we lose track of the profitability. We're like, well, it'll all work itself out. We're eternal optimists, right? As farmers, it'll all work itself out. As long as I continue to work hard, we'll be profitable. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. So kind of going back to your priorities here, if the priority is to be a profitable farm or ranch or business, whatever the case may be, how can we create goals that align with that priority? Same for the family. If the family priority is, I want to focus on my family, I don't want to sacrifice that while trying to build this business or build this farm, what does that actually look like? Is that mean actually shutting the combine down even though you're not done at the end of the night? Maybe. Maybe if your goals are aligned with your priorities, we can really start to acknowledge, what do we need to do here? What do we need to do here? And then this all kind of comes down to, after we've acknowledged the priorities and the goals to help us get to those priorities, let's kind of circle back to, farmers love to farm. Well, at the end of the day, if that's true, we need to be intentional. There's two things that we can do here, and I think that's being intentional and being accountable, okay? So that way we can actually work towards achieving these goals which align with our priorities. So kind of circling back to this phrase here that I've mentioned many, many times before, and you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but working on the business versus solely working in the business. And this is all what this definitely kind of stems down from, is farmers are so taught, trained, and conditioned that if they work hard, they'll make a good living. At least that's the way it was in my operation. At least that's the way it was when I grew up. I heard this from my dad, heard it from his dad, and basically got passed down from there. If you work hard, you'll make a good living. Well, that may be true, but what are we working towards? And how is that work actually benefiting us? And what do I mean by that? So is the work considered putting the boots on, going outside, feeding the livestock, planting the crop, harvesting the crop in order to sell it so we can make money that way? Or is the work actually sitting in the office, doing something that's uncomfortable to make sure that what our work is outside in the day-to-day is actually getting us to where we want to go, is actually being profitable, is actually building us equity versus burning equity or sucking equity back out of the operation? What does our day-to-day actually look like? Is it being profitable? So going back to kind of our priorities, I've said this over and over again about working on the business versus in the business. But this is where we need to make this a priority, because if you want to continue to do what you love, if you want to continue to farm on, we need to shift our mindset. And basically it comes down to these two things, is shifting our mindset and creating the right priorities, Because right now your priority might be, well, I just got to make sure I get the cattle fed. I got to make sure that I continue to fill these pens once I ship this group of cattle off. I got to continue to make sure this crop gets planted or continue to pick up acres so that we can continue to grow and be profitable, quote unquote. And so that's why it kind of comes down to your priorities, is what are your true priorities? Okay, are they the family? Are they the farm? Your faith? What does this actually come down to? If we want to change, we need to shift these two things, our priorities and our mindset. We need to shift those two different things. Now, I want to flip this a little bit. Let's talk about some of the consequences here if we don't make this shift here with our priorities and our mindset. If we don't make this change, what does this actually look like? If we don't change, don't shift our mindset, if we don't improve ourselves, what could happen? What could happen to you specifically? Think about this wherever you're driving down the road, sitting in the tractor, whatever you're currently doing, sit in the office, hopefully. What does this actually look like for you? What happens if you don't make this a priority? What happens? All right. Could we lose the farm? Could we continue to lose or burn equity? Could we even lose our family? Lose our legacy? Drive our kids away? Yeah, possibly. Work for 40 years with nothing to show for it. And then at the end of our career, feel like a failure, or feel like we just never even reached success, or just that you've been living, or feel like you've been living a mediocre life, never reaching your true full potential. What does that actually look like for you? What are these consequences in your operation and your family, your personal life, if we don't make our priorities set in alignment with our goals? Kind of going back to that alignment with your goals. So this might be extreme to kind of go through all these things to talk about, losing your farm, losing your family, driving your kids away. This might seem extreme, but these are the stories that ultimately keep us up at night. These are the stories that haunt us. These are the stories that keep us exactly where we're at and don't let us move anywhere. We get stuck in our ways because we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of being uncomfortable. I tell you what's uncomfortable is laying in bed at night thinking about losing your legacy, thinking about losing equity, burning equity, losing the farm that's been in your operation for 5 generations. These are the stories that will keep you up at night. The question is, how long are you going to wait to make a change? How long are you going to listen to these stories? How long are you going to lay in bed at night looking at your ceiling fan, wondering what the hell you're going to do? How long are you going to wait to make a change? That's my question for you. So all of these things that I mentioned before, I know they might be painful to think about. And I know you might be listening in your head, that's not me. I'm not worried about that. We're not going to go down that road. I'm not worried about it. But going back to all what this episode's all about, farmers love to farm. And if we don't shift our priorities to focusing on the business versus solely in the business, you might continue to farm for a while, but you also might drive away your kids. You also might burn up some equity. You also might put up some more collateral for the bank for collateral so you continue to farm on. You're going to do everything in your power to continue to farm on that you might actually lose the one thing that you're wanting to do the rest of your life, and that's continue to farm. Now, I talk about farming, but it's the same way with any business, same way with ranching, same way with anything that we're trying to get into that we truly love and enjoy. Now, the question is, how long are you going to wait to make a change? If you're ready to make a change, not only shift your mindset, but shift your trajectory into the future, reach out to me at Pioneer Farmer. This is exactly what I do. I help a lot of people with, and see how if I can help you today. Let's have a conversation about this, going back to being intentional and having somebody or someone to hold you accountable so that way we can ultimately continue to do what we love and enjoy. And this is exactly what I'm here to help you with today. So if this is something that you're looking to change, if these are things that haunt you or scare you or keep you up at night, reach out. Be intentional. Take the initiative, jump out into the uncomfortable so we can get rid of these stories, so we can cure these stories and keep moving on with the plan. So reach out to me. Otherwise, hope you found value in this. Hope you resonated to some extent with this, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for tagging along with me today as we sharpened our mindsets. If you've gained insight from today's episode, be sure to take a screenshot to share or send this episode to somebody who might also find value in it. For more, follow me on Instagram @GarrettRuskamp or on Facebook, and join me next time for more conviction through clarity.